Hello from the Brandon Bishop Van Life studio. It's coming together. I'm very happy with how it looks. Not done yet. Just like when you're building a van, it's never completely done, is it? But it's done enough to the point where I can probably start doing little things like this. And I got a whole bunch of new YouTube shows. I got a Just Awful, which is scary stories. I've got, that's a whole new YouTube channel. This is no longer the Asai TV channel. This is the Brandon Bishop Van Life channel. So that's changed. Asai TV will get its own channel. So there's 3 right there. We got Brandon Bishop or Brandon Buys Stuff. That's a new one coming out. And then we have an OK Wrestling one. And I still got some backdrops and some things like this that, you know, have yet to come in. There will be words underneath here in different colors. They just haven't come in yet. So got this on Temu, people. How cool is this? 20, 25 bucks, 26 bucks with tax. Pretty badass. Anyway, it's almost done in here, but I really want to start doing stuff. So what better way to do stuff in this brand new studio than to talk about stuff that I know about. And over the last 3.5 years, one of the most fun things about living in a van or being in a van, traveling, whether you're in a car, van, RV, truck, tent, whatever it is finding a great place to sleep at night. You're tired, you're driving down the road, I'm in my big van, sitting there going, yeah, oh, okay, yeah. And then you pull over, or you look up a place and you pull over and you find it and you park and you're like, this is great. And then you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh my God, this is beautiful. This is amazing. And then you're like, there's no better feeling than that. There's no better feeling than that. And I don't know what that little noise I just made a second ago was. It's whatever, but we make that noise when we find an amazing place to park overnight. So here's a list, okay? I had a list of like 50 because I have been very, very lucky in my van lifing where I've found amazing places to park, but I narrowed it down to 25. I didn't want to keep you here too long, okay? This is more of a test for the studio, and this is more of a me missing very much being on the road. I've been in the house all winter, and it's just, there's 1.5 feet of snow out there. The van has been barely driven, and it's just like, cabin fever, cabin fever. And you know, I love being here. This is great. It's a wonderful house. I love my studio now. This is fun. But I'm dying to get back on the road, and I'll be doing these videos, and I have a little road studio inside the van, blah, 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 blah. But here's the list. Please enjoy after these intro graphics. Living in a freaking van. That's my song, by the way. You can get it on Amazon, Apple, whatever. We'll talk about plugs later, but let's get to the list. Living in a freaking van. Living in a freaking van. Yes, I am. I'm living in a freaking van. Okay, and these are in no particular order. Understand? I'm not saying one is better than the other. There are some that are top of the list. There are some that can't be touched. There are some that are just, but they're still great places. And I really hope that you go out and find these places. Some of them are like just for me. You can't do it. You're not allowed. These are my friends' houses or businesses that are ran by friends. And they're like, Brandon, you can do what you want. Just don't bring your dirty, dirty van lifing friends with you because they stink. That has never had, that conversation never happened. But still, don't bug my friends. These are just places that I find, I just look back and I'm just going, I remember waking up or falling asleep that night and it's quiet, no one bothers me, and it's just no other people around for the most part. And like I said, when we find these places, we are so damn happy, aren't we? Yes, we are. And maybe some of these places are easily accessible for you or they're on your itinerary. Please go find the ones that are public domain for you to go check out, because I want you to experience what I had. Will you have the same experience I had? Probably not, but you may have a equally good one or a much better one. Anyways, first on the list, I'm gonna keep this real simple, this one. This is covering about 125 different places, all in one, okay? I'm just gonna say it, Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel is my go-to, and I have to put them on this list because they belong on this list. And this isn't like, when I already did a video recently of like, hey, places to park, and this is not that kind of list. This is But from here on out, these are individual places that you may or may not have heard of. Cracker Barrel, I have to say though, has to be on this list because, God, they're always like right off the freeway, so they're not hard to find for the most part. You can see the big old Cracker Barrel sign. They close at 9 or 10 at the latest, and you can go in there, use the bathroom, grab a little snack from their little general store looking things, grab some scrambled eggs and some hash brown casseroles. Oh yeah, we all know we love the hash brown casseroles. Get a double order of those, whatever. Maybe a little bacon on the side. Frick it. And I don't know what that was, but it's in there now. And then you go out there, there's always trees, there's always trash cans. They let you park there overnight. Most of them, 94.6% of them do. So it's Cracker Barrel. Of course it has to be on this list. If you're driving around and you're a van dweller or a road monkey like I am, and you don't know about Cracker Barrel, and maybe if you have one near you, I mean, they're just about everywhere. I know there's some places that don't have Cracker Barrels I've discovered. I'm like going, there's no freaking Cracker Barrels. Great. And that's terrible. That's the worst part of van life, is when you get into an area that doesn't have a Cracker Barrel and you're tired, and then you really have to dig in and find a place to look. But definitely first on this list, Cracker Barrel has to be said. Has to be said. Portland, Oregon. They have a rainforest. I don't remember the name of the rainforest, but if you look up the legend of the Witch's Castle, and I talked about this recently on my Scary Nights in Van Life, the Witch's Castle. It's an awesome, it used to be a restroom, okay? It's not some spooky old castle out in the middle of a trail, a rainforest with a creek going. It's beautiful. It's fun to get there. It's, like I said, it's absolutely stunning to just be in the middle of all that nature. And then you get to this like moss-covered, graffiti-covered building, and everyone's like, oh, it used to be a witch's castle. No, it's not. It's not that. You watch a lot of Blair Witch, and so do I, so I get it. It's a great movie. It's not that, okay? It's an old restroom where people used to do that business when they were on the trail. And it's still there, just the frame of it, a couple stories. Anyway, it's fun. The parking lot for the Witch's Castle. If you can find the Witch's Castle, you'll go into probably the same parking lot. I parked there, and it was a little creepy. I'm not gonna lie, maybe it's because of the lore of the Witch's Castle, but it was a little creepy. But at the same time, it was one of the best night's sleep I ever have. Now, I kept waking up, hearing children laughing, and hearing, it was really windy and stormy and rainy. This is what I was doing. So maybe things were hitting the van, like twigs or something. And I kept hearing like something push on the van and all that stuff. But if you like being freaked out, you like being in spooky places, then the Witch's Castle is awesome. I remember I went on the hike in the morning, at night, and I took a nice night's sleep. There was a porta potty right there if you needed it. And it was great. You wake up in the morning, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go for another hike, go back to the Witch's Castle, and come back, and it was just fun. It was just one of those times where you're smiling. I give it, should I do a rating? No. I don't wanna do that. It's just extra graphics and everything. All of these are good. So all of these are 4 or 5 star places that I've parked. And yeah, Witch's Castle parking lot, nobody bothered me. It was a little close to a road, but who cares? It was like in the middle of a rainforest. Not too many cars were going by. Anyway, check it out. Seriously, Portland, Oregon. It's awesome. Clear Lake, Iowa. What is in Clear Lake, Iowa? Let me explain to you. This wasn't the best parking space because it was just in a giant parking lot surrounded by businesses, but one of those businesses was the Surf Ballroom. If you don't know what the Surf Ballroom is, you're not much of a rock and roll fan, because that is where the music died. Actually, they rocked it out that night, and then the music died because Richie Valens, the Big Bopper, and Buddy Holly boarded a plane after performing the Winter Festival ball dance thing at the Surf Ballroom. They took off in a plane. That plane crashed not too far away from them, and away from the Surf Ballroom. So it's a legendary place. It's iconic. If you're a rock and roll fan, I highly suggest that you go visit that place. Inside is like a museum. Just being able to walk on the stage, go in the dressing room, seeing the last phone that they all used, lots of artifacts, different kinds of things in there. It's a great place. Around back, huge parking lot. I parked all the way against this the fence between like 2 big trucks, and I was a little worried because there was a lot of people walking around. They were having like a wedding or something that night. Like thousands of people were at this wedding. It was crazy. And I was worried that, you know, people were going to mess with me, tell me to leave or something. But no, nobody did. And it was a damn good sleep. And I remember waking up and just exploring Clear Lake, Iowa. And it was one of those places I always wanted to visit ever since I was a kid, and I got to do it. So that had a lot to do with it. If you're a rock and roll fan like me, you just can't beat that. And there's a couple more rock and roll related ones on this list, which is very good memories. But yeah, the Surf Ballroom parking lot at Clear Lake, Iowa. If you're in the neighborhood, by all means, stop and enjoy the Surf Ballroom and then catch yourself some Z's. Just recently, I was coming back from Vinny's house in Tennessee, and I had to go film a show in Kentucky, in Center, Kentucky. And there was a festival going on called the Kentucky Mushroom Festival. No, not those kind of mushrooms, but you know, mushrooms, the kind you eat and you make tea out of them, coffee out of them, mushroom jerky, they had mushroom everything. Great event, had a great time. And I'm forgetting the name of the place, but if you look up Kentucky Mushroom Festival online, pretty sure you can find out the venue. It's this big open field, and I had a great time at the Kentucky Mushroom Festival. I was there to film a TV show with Courtney Brooke, and it's called Festival Life. It was a lot of fun. And it was just one of those things. There's just rolling green fields in the middle of whatever month that was. And just, you know, dirty hippies walking around everywhere, and there was food and there was coffee. I did wake up in the middle of the early morning to somebody thumping techno music. That was horrible. Stop that. Just don't. It was like 6 in the morning. Like, I'm like, no, this is, I complained about it and he stopped. So that was good. I was a Karen on that day, and I am not ashamed of it, because stop that. 6 o'clock in the morning and you're thumping techno music. What the hell is wrong with you? Nobody. You could be the world's biggest techno music fan. Nobody wants to hear that shit. But the place that we were at is just absolutely beautiful. And I just remember, actually, I was sitting on the roof a little bit and just putting up the Starlink and things like that, just looking around going, wow, this is one of those good places. Oh, okay, here's 2 back-to-backs that I want to talk about real quick. And these are the rock and roll ones I was talking about. Stephen Pearcy from the band Rat. I filmed a couple documentaries about his life. They both came out really well. I think he was happy with them. I don't know him anymore. Whatever, he went his way, I went my way, and that's perfectly fine. Never meet your heroes, people. But it was fun while we did it. And one of the most, for some reason, I don't know, just because I was such a Stephen Pearcy fan, he offered me to sleep in the guest room, and I was like, I'm good. And I just like sleeping in the van. I love sleeping in the van. It's more comfortable. I have everything I need there. I'm not walking around somebody's house. You know, I don't like that. I just like being in my own domain. So when people, I have a lot of people. Yeah, you can just come in, man. We got a couch, we got a spare bedroom, we got this, that, and the other thing. You can get a futon. I'll bring you a pillow. I'm like, no. I have all that shit in my van. My van is nicer than your house. Sleeping in his parking lot for some freaking reason. I was there for like a week between the 2 trips. It's just, I don't know what it was. I slept so damn good. And this is in Las Vegas where he lives. And I just woke up. I mean, it's a gated community surrounded by nice houses and everything like that. It was just super quiet and just peaceful. And I just woke up and there was ducks looking at me. And I was down the street at the little reservoir lake they got there. And there's a bunch of ducks trying to get in the van. Like, okay, with the ducks, people. They got a lot of damn ducks. Anyways, you can watch all that stuff on Asy TV, ASY TV, if you're a Rat fan, a Steven fan, whatever it is. But that's one of the places. Stephen Pearcy related, rock and roll related. The other one is when we were filming him the second time at the Whiskey A Go-Go, there's a bungalow out behind the Rainbow Bar and Grill, which is right down the street. Now, the Rainbow is just one of those places that it's rock and roll. It's iconic. It's like the Surf Ballroom. It's like the whiskey itself. It's iconic for rock and roll people like me, okay? We used to dream of being able to walk up and down those dirty, nasty streets in the 80s and, you know, puffing our hair out like crazy and just being part of that scene. I still wish I would have gotten to do that, but I was a little kid in Detroit. Anyway, that bungalow has a little parking lot. Usually it's where people get there at the Rainbow when they do, what do you call it? Freaking hell, when you hand the people a ticket and they take your car, valet. Thank you, Brandon. Man, what? I need to take a drink or something. I'm losing it. That's the dumbest I've been all day. Anyway, that's usually where the valet parks their car. And I was parked right next to this house, which used to be owned by the owner of the Rainbow. And yeah, it was just a really cool spot, man. Like there's geckos crawling all over everything and just like the Rainbow's right there. Yeah, it was loud until about 2:30 in the morning. It's whatever. It's the freaking Sunset Strip, people. It's loud. It's rock and roll, okay? And they were playing some of my favorite songs. I couldn't bitch about it. Anyway, it was just a really cool spot existing behind the Sunset Strip, behind up in those little hills area behind the Rainbow, getting to film up and down the Sunset Strip, getting to film with Steven, getting to film, you know, the live stuff at the Whiskey and just having full access to that place. It happened a bunch of times, so very grateful for that. Thank you, Steven. I really mean that. I wish, I really do. I really wish we could do more, and I really wish we could be just a team on documenting your life. I'm kind of invested in it now. And it's cool to be a small part of that story. Anyway, enough about that shit. St. Petersburg, Florida. There was a guy named Eddie. I know everybody knows a guy named Eddie. I know a bunch of them. We'll talk about another Eddie here in a little bit. But there's a guy named Eddie who owned like a water sports type of thing. And he disappeared. This is really weird. Does anybody know where Eddie is from something water sports? I don't remember what the name of it is because I can't think today. Anyway, it's not important. He paid me to make a commercial for him. I shot the commercial. I emailed him the commercials. I sent him like 6 or 7 of them, and I never heard from him again. I don't know if he got them. I don't know if he liked them. I don't know if he hated them. Really a weird thing, man. So I hope you're okay there, Eddie, if that's your name. But while I was filming that for 3 days, I parked right off the main strip there in St. Petersburg, Florida. And it was just this little parking spot, and you had to have permission to park there, and I did. And it was just, I woke up. Actually, I toured that whole little area, walked up and down. I like to walk up and down streets. I walk a lot when I'm not at home. Unfortunately, I'm home a lot, and I'm not walking. It's just a cool little town. And there's a Mexican restaurant there. I didn't do too much exploring that night because it was getting late. Just went to bed, had a wonderful, peaceful sleep. Woke up in the morning, and this is where it got really good. There's a little dock area right there, literally 20 feet from where I parked. And that's, you know, St. Petersburg, this little watery area, boats and shit floating around. I look in the water, there's a bunch of manatees looking at me. Now, I've swam with manatees before, and that's great, and it's fun. And, you know, you touch them and everything, but there's other people around. This was just me and this family of manatees, like sitting on the dock. And I felt like just so freaking special. I felt at one with nature. I did. And they're just, you know, blowing out their blowholes and swimming around. There's a little baby manatee just kind of swimming around. Then I look over there and I see like, what are they, piranhas? I don't think they're piranhas, but they were like, and they had like these teeth. And I was like, I was like, oh my goodness, what the hell is that? I was thinking about getting in the water. No, don't do that. There's some dangerous shit in the ocean, okay, people? But no, that was just a beautiful morning. I just got some coffee at a local coffee shop, or I made it, one of the two, and just kind of walked around and hung out with manatees all morning. Yeah, St. Petersburg is badass. We're going back to Vegas, okay? Hear me out. I park at one place when I'm looking for a place to park at night, and please don't ruin this for me, okay? I mean, I got permission, so there's that. You can ask. Maybe they'll give you permission. I have known the owners. Noel, I think his name was. He's not the owner anymore, but he hasn't owned it for a few years. But he used to give me permission to park there. And the new owner seemed really cool. I have briefly spoken to them about filming things. It doesn't matter. The Pioneer Saloon in Good Springs, Nevada. You leave Vegas, you head towards LA, okay? What is that, the 10? Something like that, whatever it is. Go there towards LA. You get off at Good Springs. There's a Terrible's gas station right there. It's the biggest gas station in Nevada, and it's badass. There's a White Castle there. There's like so much stuff in that little tiny gas. So stock up on stuff, grab some White Castles, fart all night, it's gonna be terrible. But that's beside the point. Then you go down this long road in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden you come up on the Pioneer Saloon. It's beautiful. It's one of my favorite places on this entire planet. I love the Pioneer Saloon. So in the back, there's a parking lot. You have to get permission to park in their parking lot. Park all the way against the fence, and I've never had a problem there. I've parked there probably 15 times. It's worth the 20-minute trip from Vegas. I don't want to park in Vegas, okay? I've slept in the Circus parking lot before, and it was just loud and bright and just annoying. I've parked at the now non-existent Camping World, which closed down, and there's another one, but there's nowhere to park at that one, so don't even try. But there used to be a really good one, and I'd park there and in great sleep. And I used to park at there's a Cracker Barrel there as well, but no place is better. Darker, you can see every star in the sky, and you see a little glow from Vegas over there, and it's just, the Pioneer Saloon is one of my favorite places. Grab a ghost burger. It's like a ghost pepper sauce burger. It's wonderful. They got really good food there. Really cool merch there, and it's like a 120-year-old bar that's really the only active business in Good Springs, Nevada. There's bullet holes in the walls from where people were shot to death. There's all kinds of stories. I once stayed the night there. I used to do a show called Alone in the Dark, and I stayed the night there all by myself, and it was creepy as shit. I'm not a, oh God, there's a ghost type of person. I don't do that. But I just like staying in creepy places, so that's why I did that show. But sleeping there at night is fantastic. It's, dare I say, #1 on my list, if not tied with 6 other places. Also tied for #1 for places that I've slept overnight, South Dakota, the Badlands, people. Go do all the South Dakota run stuff. Start at the Devil's Tower in Wyoming, okay? Then you cross right there into South Dakota, then you'll hit Wall Drug. And there's other places. There's a lot of other places that you can stop. I think there's a bear place where you can drive through and there's bears looking at you. I can't remember what it's called. Bear Country or something like that. Anyway, there's all kinds of cool stuff, and I'm forgetting most of it, but you can go to Wall Drug. That's one of the coolest places. If you're a tourist, if you're a traveling van nomad dweller, whatever vehicle dweller person like I am, Wall Drug is a must. It's in the movie Nomadland. You've got to go to Wall Drug. Okay, but then you're done with Wall Drug, and then right not too far away, maybe 10, 15 minutes away, are the Badlands of South Dakota. Now, what are the Badlands? They're badass, is what they are. It looks like you're on the surface of the freaking moon. It's definitely otherworldly looking. And there's free parking and then there's paid parking. You can go inside the park, which I now have a military free pass to all the national parks because I'm a veteran. I'm a veteran. And then there's free parking right before the gate. You get out before you go to the gate. You just turn up this road. It's a little bumpy, but you can park right in the edge of the Badlands. Don't get too close because you'll walk out of your van and it. Don't do that. Yeah, that's death. Nobody wants that. But man, beauty, just beauty. And as long as nobody parks too close to you, I had a big RV that got there at like 10 o'clock at night and started making all this noise and putting their legs out on the, it's like, oh, come on. And then you hear this kid screaming. Thankfully, that only lasted for like 20 minutes tops. And I was just like, oh, I got this perfect spot. And these people are ruining it, but they actually didn't ruin it after they got settled in. So it's just you open that door in the morning and you're just like, unfreaking believable. Here's a weird one. I like to stop at weird places. And when I was driving through Long Beach, I want to say Washington. I don't know if it was Oregon or Washington now. It's messing with my brain a little bit. Doesn't really matter though. Pretty sure it was Washington, Long Beach, Washington. There's a place called the Cranberry Museum. It is what it says it is. I called them ahead of time. I said, hey, I'm coming through town. I really want to check out your place in the morning. Can I park in your parking lot overnight? And they said, sure. Better yet, you can park down in the back by the cranberry fields. It's a lot more quiet. It's away from the road. I'm like, okay, perfect. So I did. And it was just that. It's a little creepy when you're all by yourself because you're just surrounded by these big bogs full of frogs and cranberries and stuff. Frog bogs or bog frogs. And you can hear them at night creaking, but that sings you to sleep. And it was dark when I kind of got there and they were closed, but I parked and I woke up in the morning and I must have walked like 3 miles in this little area, just back and forth in the bogs and checking out the frogs on the log. And then the Cranberry Museum opened and they have a little self-guided tour outside, but just go in, there's a whole shop there with different cranberry products. And it's silly, but it made me so happy. You know, all of these places, they all make me just go, this is good. This is why I do this. And the Cranberry Museum was no different. So please, when you're in that area, that Pacific Northwest area, find the Cranberry Museum in Long Beach, and not Long Beach, California, Long Beach, Washington, pretty sure. And check it out. Even if you just need a place to sleep, wake up, check out the museum, buy something, okay? I can't tell you enough. Buy stuff from these places, okay? They're letting you park there. Okay, they're saving you hotel money, they're saving you RV park money, they're saving you national park money, whatever it is, wherever you got to pay to park. You don't have to do that because these places are kick ass. So support them, buy a sticker, buy a magnet, buy a postcard, buy something that they sell. And, you know, that's just our way of saying thanks. I started using Harvest Hosts. It's an app that gives you all kinds of places kind of like these. And the only time I've ever actually used a place was in Philadelphia, in Dubois. They call it Du Bois because they're unsophisticated, but it's Dubois, Pennsylvania. And I tell you what, man, Harvest Toast did not let me down on this place. They have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of places, and I am not sponsored by them, even though I should be. So it's just, it's like $100 a year. It's pretty costly. But dare I say, it's kind of worth it. They give you all these different places to park. And I chose a place in Dubois called, I'm sorry, I'll say it like you say it, Du Bois, Pennsylvania. And it was called Boxcar Brew Works. And it's a brewery, but it's made out of old train cars. And it's a restaurant, and there's a breakfast coffee bar there, and there's a pizza place there, and there's dinosaurs. A lot of dinosaurs, like giant, not real dinosaurs, but there's giant dinosaurs everywhere. And there's goats. I'm not making this up. This place is awesome. Like, look them up. Look up Boxcar Brew Works. It's called something, the Doolittle Station or something like that. Look it up. It's really badass. And if you're driving through that area, like I drive through there all the time between New York and Detroit, I will be stopping back there. And it's wonderful. I went in there and I bought a whole meal, and I bought more in the morning, got a coffee. It was a lot of fun. It was really the first van trip that I took, and I was coming back from New York City. But man, what a find. This place was awesome. And it's just a great place to wake up and just feel good about being in a van and being on the road. Because I tell you, you find spots that are just like so unnerving, and you're so pissed off, and you don't get any sleep, and you know, you took forever to find this place. Then you see a sign that says no overnight parking, and then you got to find some other place, and you get a security guard yelling at you at Home Depot, like, oh, and it's like, okay, I just want to go to sleep, man. I just want to go to sleep. That's all I want to do. Then you finally find a place, and it's on a hill or something, and you're like, all the blood's rushing to your feet all night. Finding a place to park overnight can be a real pain in the dick. Let me tell you that right now, or whatever you have down there. It's a pain sometimes. But then you find a place like Boxcar Brew Works, and you're just like, this is it, man. And I will be using that Harvest Toast app time and time again, wherever I'm going, and I got a long, long trip coming up. So a couple places, I don't even know why they're on the list. These are my friends. Speaking of New York City, I film a TV show called New York Ham for Asai TV. Get Asai TV, ASYTV.com. That's where you can watch everything. It's like Netflix, people, but it's stuff that I filmed. Okay? You'll like it. If you like travel stuff, if you're watching this, then you're obviously a travel nut, right? Then watch Asai TV. You'll see all kinds of things and all kinds of places, people, and things that you'll want to be a part of. But when I'm filming in New York City, I stay with the host of that show, Eddie Finocchiaro. And he just has a house on Staten Island. Drive in there, pull into his driveway, plug in, and that's my home for several weeks at a time. I love staying in. It's a little cramped. It was cramped when I had the minivan. Now it's really cramped, but my van fits in there, and you know, you get a couple bushes scraping your face, but it's okay. It's whatever. It's worth it. And finding a place to park in New York City, good luck. Good luck, people. And you're not far from New York City. You take a train to the ferry, you take a ferry to the, Manhattan or to the main island, and there it is. There's New York City. You walk around all day and you won't see everything. But I love staying in bed. I got one of my best friends sitting there inside the house. If I got to use the bathroom, I use the bathroom. I use the shower, get to hang out, have some fun. And when it's time to be alone, I get to go back to the van. I got an apartment on wheels sticking out there. So I love staying in Eddie's driveway. You probably cannot stay there unless you know Eddie, which the chances of you being a van dweller that knows Eddie is really very small. So yeah, scratch that one off this list. For you. For me though, it's one of my favorite places. In that same vein, I have a friend in Morristown, Tennessee named Vinny, who I film Weird Roads with. He's the star of Vinny's Fantastic Rock and Roll Adventure. I crack my knuckles. Oh, yeah. Because when I'm in Morristown, Tennessee, I stay at Vinny's house. He's got a parking lot there. They have to move their cars off to the side because I got this big beast of a van, but I've probably stayed between the two vans that I've had. I've probably stayed in his parking lot for a month and a half, maybe longer, maybe 2 months altogether. Yeah, it's a great place, man. You go in, and I like to cook for them. I like to clean their house. I like to make them coffee in the morning, hang out with their dogs. It's just a good thing for me. Again, it's a me thing. It's not a you thing, unless you know Vinny and you need a place to park your van. Maybe he'll say, yeah. I highly doubt it. And he'll yell at me for going, why are you telling people that they can park in my driveway? I really should do that, though. I should start like a VANLIFE parking place and put the coordinates to his driveway. And just say, free parking. You don't have to tell anybody. Just pull in. I think I'm going to do that. One more that's primarily acceptable for me is Kilroy's Workshop in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Now, when I left my apartment and hit the road and started going full-time in the van, for the first month and a half, and then when I came back for about another 3 weeks, I stayed at Kilroy's. Why? Because it's in an industrial area. Kilroy's Workshop, first of all, it's a maker space for welding and sword making and blacksmithing, and they make everything there. It is one of the most positive, creative, genuine spaces. Ron Hardman, the owner of it, is one of the most brilliant, incredible people I've ever met. I'm so honored to call him a friend. He's one of the reasons I miss Colorado Springs. There's a lot of reasons, but there's not a lot of reasons. But he's one of the reasons. I love that place. I really do. And he loved having me there because he basically had a security guard on site that entire time that I was there. So the only problem with that place is you'll wake up and they'll have this pounding, like metal, it shakes the earth, literally shakes the earth. And then you get all the clanging and banging and everything. But wake your ass up, okay? What do you expect? It's a freaking blacksmithing place. They're making things there. They're making axes and swords, and they even make jewelry and stuff. I'm telling you, this place is amazing. Look up Kilroy's Workshop in Colorado Springs, Colorado. You're going to want to move to Colorado Springs, Colorado just to be a part of this place. And Ron, like I said, is amazing. Outside of the noise in the morning, which it's time to wake up anyway, do you have a built-in alarm clock? He lets me plug right in and use their juice. If you really don't tell him I sent you, because I feel kind of stupid about even mentioning that, because I got a feeling if you do pass through there, you're going to be looking. But there's plenty of industrial places around there, and there's no signs that say you can't park overnight anywhere, even if it's on the side of the road. But I love Kilroy's, and every time I go back to Colorado Springs will probably be, me hanging out at Kilroy's overnight. And I got a trip going there pretty soon, so I'll probably see them while we're on that trip. But love me some Kilroy's, and it's my Colorado Springs go-to location now that I no longer live there. Yay! Here's a fun place, and you may not think it's a fun place, but Preston, Idaho. You're like, what? Why? What? Preston, Idaho is where they shot one of my all-time favorite movies, Napoleon Dynamite. And that city is exactly like it was in that movie. Exactly. The house is there, Napoleon's house, Pedro's house. The old karate studio is now a boutique with clothing and stuff in it, but it's still there. And then Poppin' Pins, the bowling alley where Rico and Kip were discussing business plans and bowling. is still there, and it's also got an amazing Hawaiian restaurant inside. I hope it's all still owned by the same people, because that guy was freaking awesome. I was looking for a place to park. I actually called the police department, and I was like, hey, where can I park? And they're like, go park out by the reservoir. I'm like, is it safe? They're like, everything's safe out here. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I said, well, that's where I'll be, just in case you see somebody out there in a little white minivan. That's me. So I park out there, and that's where I met, I feel stupid, I think his name was Bob. Bob, anyway, I forget names sometimes. But this guy was awesome. He's the owner of Poppin' Pins, and he gave me a free meal and said, come visit us and everything. They actually have Uncle Rico's bowling ball, the big blue one. Freaking awesome. But I parked out there by the reservoir, right by this beautiful lake, right in this little line of trees, and man, I slept amazing. And that's the first place I ever used my portable toilet. I had to poop really bad, and there it was. I could not get back to town in time, so I just set up that thing, put a bag in it, pooped in a bag, put it in a nearby trash can, sorry, and where else are you gonna put it? You put dog poop in a trash can, right? So what's the difference? Just a lot more of it. Yeah, that place will always mean a lot to me for that reason. And the fact that I found a great place in Preston, Idaho, a place I plan on going again and again and again. It's just a cool little town. Check it out. I think you'll, if you're a fan of the movie Napoleon Dynamite, yeah, you got to do this. I mentioned the movie Vinny's Fantastic Rock and Roll Adventure before, and we parked at a lot of cool places. I had my minivan, and Vinny rented a minivan, and we just van lifed it all the way down Route 66 legitimately, with stops in Colorado, with stops in Vegas, and it was so much fun. It was just so much fun. I never did van lifing with anybody before. I had a little caravan. Yeah, we got separated a lot, but you know, there's phones. Hey, where you at? It was, and I'm trying to think of some other places that we parked on that trip. A lot of Cracker Barrels, because we're filming a movie the whole time. But we're, you know, different Cracker Barrels and different places like that. But the one that really stands out was this church. Oh, I'm not a church guy, it's whatever, but there's a church and it had this gigantic cross in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. It's like huge. And they had this enormous parking lot. This parking lot had it was like stadium size, it was like endless. So we asked and they said, yeah, you can park there. I'm like, awesome, cool. You know, church people are usually nice, usually. And we just stayed the night, you know, we parked our vans next to each other, and we had a little lunch out there, made some brats, filmed some stuff for the movie. It's in the movie. And there was a nice storm that night, which I love nothing more than being in the van during a storm. You hear the rain on the roof, a little rocking, and it just puts me out. So that was a really good experience. And just waking up, my friends are there, made everybody coffee, and that was fun. And I'm sure you can park there too if you want to. It's there, it's a giant church. You can't miss the cross. It's really big. Big cross, we get the point. Roswell, New Mexico. I've been there a few times. I'm trying to think of where I parked before. I remember I had a hotel there the first time I went, but the last time I went, I was supposed to stay behind Max and Stacy's Alien Invasion gift store. They're friends of mine. And that was really nice of them. They put power out there for me and everything. And I for some reason, I wanted to explore the area. You know, I wanted to be away from the downtown Roswell tourist trap area. And I found this little, a little camping parking area. It was like $10. It wasn't bad at all, maybe less than $10. And you go there, you pay, and they give you a little spot, a little piece of paper you stick on there, like any kind of camping ground or RV park, whatever. And it was wonderful. It was, they had bathrooms, it was just, and once it got dark, you couldn't see anything. You definitely had to have a light. There was one guy who kept walking back and forth, and he was probably just like me. I like to walk around. And it was just really badass. And it was so dark, and you're in Roswell, and you're looking at the sky. You can see every star in the universe, and it's yeah, show me something. Didn't see anything, of course. But, you know, maybe you will. But check it out. I can't remember the name of it. I know I'm not being much of a help. If you go out there, there's an RV park that I drove to it and it looked packed. And I was like, this is the shits. Then I found another one that's a little farther out. And I was like, this is great. There was nobody there. Maybe 5 or 6 people in the whole area. And I think it held 15 places. So it just, it was fun, man. Roswell's a cool little town to visit for like a day. I always plan on going for like 2 or 3 days. I never do. You can see everything in a day if you get there early. So yeah, it's just, you can park on the side of the street if you want to. You can park wherever, a restaurant or something, or you can just get away from Roswell a little bit and find a little RV park, I think, whatever they call this thing, a little park. And there it is, man. It was wonderful. I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot. And I did not get anally probed. I put myself out there. Nothing. No aliens. Guess I don't have a nice booty for the... Damn it. Okay, this one is not because of the spot that I found. I actually parked a few different places, but I'm just going to say Burbank in Los Angeles, on the outskirts of Los Angeles, whatever. Burbank, California. I love Magnolia Boulevard in Burbank. And you can park on the side of the street. Like, whenever you're looking for a place in a residential area or like a commercial district, just find, like, go down one of the streets, like off the main strip, like into the residential area, and then find one of those long fences. It's like not in front of anybody's house, but it's like next to their backyard, you know what I'm saying? Find one of those long fences and park there if you got a spot, or if there's no, look out for signs, of course, and everything like that. Look for fire hydrants. Look out for signs, look out for fire hydrants. Don't get yourself in trouble, don't get tickets. Don't get towed, but it's just I love Magnolia Boulevard. There's a bunch of like Halloween shops there. There's a bunch of cool toy shops. Pinocchio's Italian restaurant. It has the best lasagna like you'll ever eat in your life. And it's got a really cool marketplace in there as well. I'm trying to think. Oh, the Mystic Museum is there. That place is freaking awesome. There's costume shops there. There's all kinds of cool things. Blast from the Past toy shop is there. And there's sweet treats. There's just so many cool, different little things. You can spend a whole day there and have fun, or to spend an evening there and probably see everything. But if you are there in the evening and you just got done seeing everything and you're tired, there is a Planet Fitness there. I don't recommend that at all. That's the place that had the drug deal, which was right outside my van window. I was a little nervous about that. But the just find a side of the street. Just park. Get off the main strip. Get off of Magnolia Boulevard. Find a spot. Buy a long fence. Park. Don't be messy. Don't put out lawn chairs and a grill. Don't do that. Just don't do that. Don't put out your slides if you're in an RV. No. Park. Turn the lights off. Go to sleep. Wake up in the morning. Go to Los Angeles and do something. Okay. Go to Universal Studios or something. Yeah. Be stealthy. But you can get away with it because it's legal in Los Angeles to park on the side of the road. No one's going to tell you to leave. The neighbors could come out and say, hey, you don't want your parking here. Like, tough shit. Simple as that. You're allowed to park on the side of the road in Los Angeles. Simple as that. Got it? Burbank is a fun place to park. It's not dirty, grimy, and scary like Los Angeles, but it's just a little neighborhood, you know, with cool shit everywhere. Now, from the West Coast to the East Coast, I got to visit Salem in Massachusetts, and I love Salem. As you can tell behind me, I like macabre things. I like dark things. I like creepy things, spooky things, scary things, evil things. A little bit. I'm looking around at the rest of the studio going, yeah, I got a picture of The Shining's Jack Nicholson over there. Well, a picture of Satan. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. Big fan. Anyways, when you're in Salem, it's really simple. There's a big park right in the middle of the city, and it's a beautiful park, okay? And it's walking distance of everything. Park in the far side of the park. And if there's a spot, like I said, don't do this shit on the weekends. You're not going to find a spot, okay? Be stealthy. You don't want people knocking. There's no signs that say you can't park there. I'm pretty sure it's allowed. But it's just a beautiful place to fall asleep. Even more beautiful place to wake up. You wake up early, you go get some coffee. There's a coffee shop there that's really cool. And it's a few hundred yards walk away. And yards? Not even, maybe 200 yards away. And just get your steps in, man. Go to the shopping district. Go to the big black house out there, the Witch's Cove, and see all the, the tributes to all the witches and the places that they were hung. And it's just a creepy ass place, man, and it's badass. So many cool shops, so many great restaurants. I love Salem, and I cannot freaking wait to go back. I wish it's not on my loop. It's kind of like outside of my loop. It's not too far away from New York City. So next time I go to New York City, I'm most likely going to stop up at Salem again. I've never been to Boston. Isn't that weird? Like one of the few major cities, maybe the only Boston and Miami. Those are the two major cities I've never been to, and that's weird to me. Speaking of dark, creepy, and wonderful, the Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, which I really consider Eureka Springs probably the best kept secret for people like me. It's wonderful. Now, I was filming a TV show with Brianna Blackledge and Just a Small Town Girl. That show is on Sci TV as well. And I got permission to park at the Crescent Hotel in the parking lot. I parked way in the back by the storage units back there. I parked way in the back. I was there for 3 days, 3 nights, and nobody bothered me. Nobody bothered me. Now, I did take some orange cones and put it in the spot next to me because that parking lot does fill up, and I just didn't want people parking like, close to me and bothering me all night. So I did that. Probably shouldn't have, but I did. And it was like the last night when somebody actually moved the cones out and somebody was parked there, and it was whatever. But it was just a very peaceful place. And Eureka Springs, man, I almost don't want to tell you about it because it's such a well-kept secret. Yes, it is packed. There is tourists. People do know about it, but not as many as people should. It's a beautiful, just like stone road and not brick, but just stones, like houses. It's like a German type of thing. I don't know, but the whole thing is, especially the Crescent Hotel, is just creepy and haunted, and you get to meet Jasper the cat, who's awesome. That's Jasper right there. That's where I got that stuffed cat right there from the Crescent Hotel. Jasper's a real cat. Hopefully Jasper's still doing good. Give me a call if you see this Jasper. He's the concierge of the hotel. He just walks around and has the whole place to himself. It's kind of wonderful. Anyways, that parking lot though, for some reason, if you can get permission to park there, do it, because there's really no other. Now you have to climb a hill. My little minivan almost didn't make it. I'm concerned about taking the new big blue beautiful bastard up there. But yeah, that was just a wonderful place. I felt safe and I was happy all night. There's a restaurant inside the Crescent Hotel. Bathrooms in there if you need them. Beautiful, haunting, creepy. The other episode of Just a Small Town Girl that I filmed with Brianna was in Herman, Missouri. And Herman, Missouri is like this little wine-drinking German town. Some of the best restaurants, or the Worst House, W-U-R-S-T, the Herman Worst House. You could just eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert there every single day, and I would not get sick of it for probably 17 years. That's how good that stuff is. We actually order their frozen products here because they're so effing good. Yeah, but I had the minivan at the time, and there was a treehouse place that we filmed where people can rent like Airbnb type house where you can rent a treehouse, and there's all these cool kick-ass tree houses up in these giant trees. And I forget the name of the guy who ran it, but he was super freaking cool. And it was just one of those things where, hey dude, I don't really want to rent a tree house, but can I park my van in your parking lot? And he's like, I can do you one better. You can park it up here by they had like a common room, like a little building. And he ran a plug out to me, and that was just super freaking awesome of him. Like, thank you. And apparently him or his daughter are into van life, and I think they may even watch this show once in a while. I have no idea, but I've been trying to get back there. It is on my route next month. Might stop in Herman, grab some sausages, grab a couple sausages, and maybe stop at the tree houses again. I think it was called the Cottages or something like that. Look up tree houses, Herman, Missouri. Get a tree house if you want to do that experience. They're really awesome. We toured all of them. And man, such cool people, and really cool for him to run that power out. And just surrounded by trees at night, totally dark. Nobody bothered me. What else can you ask for? Casey, Illinois. Okay. The parking situation, there's a park in Casey. It's right by the Softball Hall of Fame, which is amazing if you like softball. Whatever. Somebody out there is like, I can't wait to go to the Softball Hall of Fame. I'm not that guy, but I still went, and it was cool. Anyway, you could park at that park. There's little spots. There's a retirement home there that I parked across from. Nobody gave me any crap, and I slept like a baby. And then I woke up in the morning covered in snow, which I was really bummed about because that next day I was going to explore Casey, Illinois. The cool thing about parking overnight at Casey, Illinois, you wake up, you go to the coffee shop. There's a main coffee shop right there. I don't know what it's called, but it was really good. They had a really good sandwich, breakfast sandwich, and I ate one of those, maybe two. I am a fat shit, but the coffee was really good. And then you walk around Casey, and then you drive around Casey, and you can spend an entire day in Casey, Illinois, looking for what? The world's biggest stuff. Yep, you'll see the world's biggest rocking chair. It's right there. You'll see the world's biggest ruler, the world's biggest pencil, bird cage, teeter-totter, mouse trap, golf club. The pizza place just burnt down, so I don't know if the world's biggest pizza slicer is still there, but there's like 20 to 30 to 40 world's biggest things all over that region. Most of them are in town, some of them are on the outskirts, but they give you a little map that you can look it up and a little checklist. And I spent all day looking up the world's biggest antlers, the world's biggest wooden shoes, the world's biggest this, that, and everything. The world's biggest Pokemon ball. There's all kinds of stuff. So that was really a good time. I had just a freaking blast doing that and driving around. It's also, again, on my route again. So I'm hoping to go this time and not freeze my ass off walking around Casey, Illinois, because last time was super cold. Okay, let's go back to Choich, Taos, New Mexico. Lots of places to park in Taos. I ate at a Trujillo's taco joint. Trujillo's Mexican restaurant, I think. Whatever, it's just a little dive, and it's great food, great people. They gave me a t-shirt. Thank you for that. Great t-shirt. Still wear it to this day. Every single day I wear that t-shirt. I'm kidding, I have no idea where that shirt went, but I do appreciate it nonetheless. Food was good. They said I could park there, and I was like, it was a little warm. I'm like, okay, well, I'll give it a shot. I parked, and just too many people walking around. So I just said, yeah, I'm okay. Drove around a little bit, and I found this church. I'm sure in the footage I'm showing you, you'll see the name of it. But there's like this big dirt parking lot, and there's nobody there. It was next to a bus station. That's the only problem I had that morning. Was a school day, so all the buses woke up and was really loud, and I was not ready to wake up. So it was like there was a built-in bus alarm clock. It's whatever. But this church was awesome. There was nobody there. Churches are often very good places to park and sleep, and this was no exception. This was one of my favorite ones. It was just a beautiful place. You could see all the Taos. Everything's brown in Taos. Even their McDonald's is like brown, and it was just a really like relaxing place to sleep. Now there was a skunk that sprayed outside where I was parked, and I could not leave because I was afraid of getting sprayed by a skunk. I actually saw the skunk. I was like, this is bad. And then it stunk like skunk really badly. That and the buses, I guess that's a lot to complain about, but you can't blame that place for it. I'm sure if you went there, the skunk would leave you alone, and you'd go on a weekend, so you wouldn't be bothered by buses, but then you'd be bothered by church people, which is way worse. Again, these are not in any particular order. I have two left. This one is one of my favorite places to stop in Iowa. It's at the Amana Colonies. Amana. This place is awesome. It's like another little German town. Great food. It's another wine drinking town if you're into that. Good coffee, cool shops. Just beautiful. It's a very beautiful place. Flea markets, not flea markets, but like antique stores. There's all kinds of stuff. There's a whole bunch of Amana colonies, but most of them look like normal towns. The main little touristy area, there's a general store there, there's all kinds of things, and there's a museum there, a couple museums. It's really just a badass place, and I really highly recommend anybody passing through Iowa, which if you don't know where to stop, can be a very boring trek, through all the way from end to end through Iowa. I mean, there's the Iowa 80, which I've slept there before, super loud. There's a couple different places. I already mentioned the Surf Doll Room, things like that. But it's the Amana Colonies. It's kind of off the freeway. It's about 25, 30 minutes off the freeway. So it is a little bit of a detour. It will add time to your trip if you're passing through, but it's worth it. So freaking worth it. I love the Amana Colonies. And every time I'm forced to pass it by going through Iowa, I'm in a hurry or something, I'm a little more bummed about it. But I've stayed at a couple places. There's a big parking lot by the event center. The event center is ran by very nice people. I asked them. They said, you can park here all you want. I stayed there for 2 nights. And it was just peaceful. Nobody bothering me. got a couple stares like, what are you doing over there? But nobody said anything. And it's just, it's a very small community. I don't even think they have a police department. They don't need one. And it's, one of the shop owners told me, yeah, we handle our own business. Like, oh, okay, well, I will not be upsetting you. I promise you that. Anyway, great place to park. Call the event center, see if you can park there. Don't make a mess. Don't be an asshole. Just park there, get your sleep, get out. Simple as that. Great place. The Amana Colonies in Iowa. Highly recommend. And I have saved the sweetest for last. Jordan, Minnesota. Let me say that again. Jordan, Minnesota. It's on the outskirts of Minneapolis. Minneapolis. I cannot speak. I have been talking a lot, so hang on. It's the world's largest, actually, Minnesota's largest candy store in Jordan, Minnesota. And this is the last one. Like I said, save the sweetest for last. The owner is grateful when you park in their parking lot overnight because, again, there's a built-in security guard. As long as you're not a messy douchebag, they're not going to have a problem with you whatsoever. So don't screw it up for the rest of us. Understand? Because next time I go there, I'm definitely staying there. I don't need a lot of sugar. I don't need a lot of sugar. I don't want a lot of sugar. I'll buy it for other people. But good to have a lot of sugar in that place. It's like a theme store anyways. There's superheroes and sci-fi stuff and Disney stuff. And you walk in there and there's endless amounts of sugar and candy. Craziness. The place is awesome. Then you go outside. You go all the way over there. They have a little truck there. There's a little tree there. You park over there. There's a little lake there where I saw a beaver, a real beaver in the flesh. I saw it swimming around there. I fed it brioche bread. Wouldn't make this up. He loved it. Anyway, great place to park. The owner actually came up and was talking to me and said, no, please stay here. This is great. I got a security guard. That's awesome. So I'm sure they'll let you stay there as well. Minnesota's largest candy store, Jordan, Minnesota. I'm done. That's it. My mouth is no longer cooperating with me. I think I've tested the new studio. Everything is good. The mic's working. The lights are working. I got some accent lights over here that look like freaking lightsabers right here. Yeah, this is a success. But unfortunately, my mouth is like, I don't want to talk anymore. And I can't blame it because I just went through 25 of my favorite places to park all over the country. And I hope that the places you're allowed to park, I hope you find them and I hope that works out for you as well. And I would also love to know what your favorite places to park around the country are, because I'm always looking for new places. I'm always looking at Harvest Host going, oh, that's cool. I'll try that one. There's all kinds of places on Harvest Host. Again, not a sponsor, just the product I believe in. So yeah, let me know what your favorite places are in the comments. Like and subscribe if you wanna. And I will see you next time for another van life class. And I don't know what the topic will be. Let's see. Cooking in the van. Yeah, there's that. Favorite gadgets. There's that. There's all kinds of stuff. Good things, terrible things. Van tour. I haven't done a really proper van tour yet. So look forward to all that stuff. Again, I'm not traveling much, but I'm still going to release a video every single Monday here on the Brandon Bishop Van Life channel. And then again, we have Just Awful. So look that one up if you like scary stuff. Brandon Buys Stuff if you're a crazy consumer who loves to shop like I am. Asai TV will have a brand new YouTube page with most of the stuff that we air on Asai TV. And then we have, what's this one? OK Wrestling. Yeah, OK Wrestling, which is all about professional wrestling if you like it. I've been a wrestler and a fan my entire life. So see you in a couple days. See you next week. And enjoy your travels, people. Bye. Be safe.
Living in a freaking van! Living in a freaking van!